kind of resolve that issue. But I don't know. I think you can get around not having Vayne. I don't know. It's tough. I think you just need to have a really aggressive team comp and look for early kills in order to stop it, because if you allow them to split push on you like that, then they can just completely have control of the game like that.
Well, I really, well, yeah, and there it is, the Janna ban first from Rosewill. And the reason I want the Janna ban, and the reason I ideally would like to see the Janna ban, Janna allowed for proper disbursement when Rosewill started getting too much up into their business. The shield, not only did it pay off in dividends bot lane, but it also allowed CLG to take all of those early objectives. It allowed them to take the early dragon. It allowed them to take Baron with only 3 members. It was just so vital. And it's the other members for this comp, semi-interchangeable. I mean, Lee Sin was a very vital part in that too, but because Janet, she is a support, she's able to help so many other champs, she was really the centerpiece.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. I mean, right now, pretty standard bans. Other than that Janna ban, we do see CLG banning out Shen. So Shen kind of does counter out that split push a little bit. And Nidalee going to be banned. So just don't even want to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's really just too strong in hot shots. And that's the thing. A couple of the champions they play, you always think CLG, they're only good at a certain number of champions. In hot shot, he only plays, too limited of a role of champions. And Double F plays too limited of a role of champions and whatnot. But the ones that they do play, they're absolutely dominant with. And so now, you can't ban Vayne from double lift because you have to ban out Janna and you have to ban out Nidalee. Or if you ban Vayne, then obviously you're going to leave some other options open. But Mundo going down for Rosewill, definitely, really strong counter jungler, just all around strong, gives them that map control, which they always want, and then actually Nocturne and TF for CLG, so complete reversal of roles. We had CLG with the split push last game. There is kind of a split push element to Nocturne and TF, but primarily it is looking for early kills and strong initiation, so we'll see how that works.
And, I think a lot of that also is a credit to the fact that CLG used their last ban on Alistar. It's like, okay, if you're not going to allow us to have Janna, the queen of, team fight resets, we're not going to allow you Alistar, the king of support team fight initiation. So it's a nice little even trade. It's just kind of a little bit of a tit for tat there. And because of that, it allows them to pick up Nocturne. It allows them to grab Nocturne, and it allows them to get TF. Because TF, if you have Alistar in bot lane, if he's going to come port down, if you have a support Alistar, he's just going to walk over to his port range where he's going to be, oh, hey, TF, how's it going? Q.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting along those lines. Right now, we have Mundo into the Karthus pick. So Mundo and Karthus obviously one of those super late game mid carries. Will have just a ton of AoE damage and fight control. That actually comp works very well with the Kog'Maw AD. And so you have Karthus and Mundo up front. They can protect the backline AD because obviously you're not going to just walk through Karthus' AoE and you're not going to kill Mundo very easily. However, because of the Nocturne and TF pick, we obviously can't go with someone like Varus or Kog'Maw because they're just too mobile or too stationary. They will be very vulnerable to those ganks bottom, like you said, with the TF. So as a result, they're picking up Graves instead. So Graves has a nice mix of AD damage, has a lot of burst, just is a really strong overall pick, but not quite the same as that long-range carry as Kog or Varus in this kind of a team comp. Even so, it does give them a lot of support bottom, but against that Graves, we have Corki and Leona, which is a very aggressive kind of kill bot lane.
I'm wondering if they're going to go with the Lux support again, because I mean, it didn't, we could see what they were trying to do with it last game, but it didn't exactly quite work out. We'll have to see. We do have a potential Malphite here. Malphite top lane, Taric support could work out pretty well for them as well, but we do still have an option open for CLG. Who are we going to have as our top lane? Malphite, he does really well against champions with a lot of attack speed, so we may see a real heavy hitter top lane. We could possibly see a Nasus. We can see Renekton. We may even just go straight up ranged harass and get Yorick even. Or Singed. Why not? We can get a Singed up there. We almost had a Singed today, but we have options. So it looks like we will be having a Malphite top and Taric support down here. And so we can, and again, we have Mundo there to be the heavy body up in front, and Malphite to follow that up with the ult for the initiation.
Yeah, and so now both lanes with a very aggressive bottom. Taric, he has the heal. They have a lot of kill potential. The armor shredding works very well with Graves. I'm a little bit surprised by the Malphite top. And so the big thing So far we have Corki, we have Nocturne. Yes, that's AD. You usually look at Malphite as countering out physical damage teams. Sorry, I'm out of breath here. I ran out of the room real quick. Had to get myself a tissue. But anyway, so Malphite, countering out those physical damage teams, but he also gives you really strong initiation, and so they will have a pretty tanky team. When team fights come around, we have the AoE of Karthus. We have Malphite, can just pop everyone up, control the fight very well, and then go along with that AoE of Graze. So a nice little AoE core. The only concern is who is going to pair up against Malphite, and so right now we'll have to see, who Hotshot's going to be playing. But regardless, Malphite is very vulnerable in that top lane. If you get a ranged champion who gets lots of harass like Kennen, then that can shut him down. Rumble works out, just as well. The thing that's interesting about Kennen is obviously that Hotshot doesn't play him. Or a lot, regardless. So, picking up that Rumble pick. Now, the sustained damage from Rumble, the thing with Malphite is if you allow him to keep up the shield, if you only do burst damage, or if you're a physical damage dealer with the auto attacks, then he can shut down your damage, regen the shield, and be perfectly fine. But if you have sustained damage or range damage, then you can take down the shield, chunk his health, and very quickly win. And so Malphite versus Rumble. Rumble can obviously, once he gets in that melee range, chase him down. He has the Flame Spitter. We'll be able to chunk the shield and then continue pressuring his advantage in order to pick up those kills. And then when you consider Mundo versus TF and Nocturne can very quickly come into that top lane, try and pick up kills for Rumble. And if he snowballs early, then that could just be it for Rosewill. So really what they need to do is just be safe in that top lane, try and help Malphite as much as possible, but I'm not really sure how he's going to win this matchup.
Yep. But last game we did have a little bit of a concern for CLG, which was kind of not really that big of a worry for him. Is that game one they didn't have too much in means of hard initiation, but this game we have the Nocturnal, we have TF, we can teleport in with the yellow card, and we have the Rumble as well. If we get the Supreme Leona stun, that can start things off for a nice little chain effect going there as well. And it looks like Rosewill. We have Mundo's or tanky body up front. We have Malphite we can ult, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean it is a concern. The wall for Karthus is pretty long range, but I think the bigger issue is. Right now, they kind of expect to, initiate in team fights with the Malphite ult and then just have all this AoE coming back to him. Yeah. But the issue is that Rumble, he has his AoE. Karthus is very stationary generally in fights, and against stationary objects, Rumble's ultimate is just the supreme counter. Mm-hmm. You get that really long-range AoE. It allows you to engage, obviously, but then also just, a lot of upfront damage. And I think, Rosewill, they kind of need to win the lanes. And right now, TF versus Karthus, that primarily turns to a free farm lane. TF is a little bit too short range to harass Karthus. Karthus has enough range to farm, but doesn't really have enough, easy damage to get any damage off onto TF. So that's going to be a farm lane. Top lane should be Hotshot's advantage. Oh, actually, I just realized Hotshot's top, and that's So okay, we have Big Fat going to be playing. You know what? I'm guessing that Big Fat's going to be going top lane and Hotshot mid. And everyone probably in the chat is like, well, of course that's what's happening. But this is one of the things with, I have no idea what chat's saying. We're not looking at chat or anything. But this is one of the things that CLG has always done in the past and that they've been talking about trying to get back into, which is diversify their roles, but more importantly, when they're playing champions that maybe they're not comfortable with, switch up. And so Big Fat used to be one of the best top Rumbles in the game. I mean, he was such a joy to watch. You see him, just with great control and kiting people and just picking up kills left and right was one of the best, Rumbles in the game, was just awesome. Now, TF, I'm not sure, Big Fat obviously is more well-known for his TF. I'm sure Hotshot is probably solid with his TF, but maybe he wasn't as comfortable with Rumble, or he wasn't as comfortable with champions that do well against Malphite, because the champions that Hotshot likes playing, Aurelia loses to Malphite. Cho'Gath doesn't lose to Malphite, but it's a free farm lane, and so that's not as big of a deal. Nidalee was banned. Nidalee would have done very well against Malphite, but instead of forcing Hotshot back up into that lane, they pick Big Fat to go up top, and so they're switching up their roles. I think if you look back at DreamHack, when they, with the Season 1 championship, every single game they were playing different roles. Like we would have Big Fat playing AD one game, top the other game, mid the next game, support one game, and that's kind of what they're trying to get back into. So it should be fun.
It also speaks a lot to how versatile of a team CLG is. The fact that they may not play that many champs. So we know this is one of the things that one of their known weaknesses for a while. But the fact that they're willing to go ahead, change up their game plan, and be able to rearrange and make things work if they're in a position that they're not accustomed to or one of their weaknesses, and we see that to them right here.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how that works out for them. But right now, I'm really liking the setup, and I think it should make things very difficult for Rosewill. I mean, they have kind of a lane disadvantage, through and through. We have the Nocturne ganking potential versus Mundo, and Mundo is obviously very strong at controlling the jungle and whatnot. But because he doesn't have the same ganking presence as Nocturne, because you look at these lanes, what's the primary lane that you want to gank? Well, it's going to be TF mid.
Yep.
TF mid, Mundo probably doesn't have enough of an engage in order to get into TF. TF is primarily going to sit back mid and be defensive, but we'll have to see. Livingston does see all of CLG coming in, so they have good vision, and they could maybe get the jump on him right now as CLG comes and tries to invade that blue.
And team has also put the lay waste in the bush just to make sure it's like, hey man, we know you're here. You might want to consider backing off from this one. So, but we see them. He's like, okay, if that bush didn't work, let's try the other side. Let's try and go for an invade on red. And very unfortunate, Rosewill just walks out just in time as they make their invade in. Just a little bit of unfortunate timing. Not really a whole lot you can do about that. It's just very unfortunate. That's all it is to it.
Yeah, and now Rosewill actually moving into this top lane. Oh, I hope they're not doing what I think they're doing, because right now CLG is grouping up to steal this red. They're hoping they're going to get an invade, but Rosewill, maybe they're just going in for the blue. So neither team really knows where the other is. I was wondering if maybe they would come into the top bush and maybe leave their support up there to try and get a quick kill onto Big Fat, but they're going to try and invade their own blue. There's not really anyone there, so they're going to be successful, I guess. But in the meantime, CLG going to steal these wraiths and going to steal the red as well. So a nice little quick advantage for St. Vicious, and that could turn into some aggressive ganks as the game progresses, or maybe even shut down Mundo a little bit. The concern is CLG didn't drop a ward at their own red, so it opens up the opportunity for Mundo to invade and steal the red if he decides. But I think right now they know that Rosewill is scared. Rosewill is staring into the eyes of CLG, this demonic beast of LoL kind of thing. And they're like, okay, well, Mundo we would normally want to invade, but this is CLG, so maybe we won't. We'll have to see, whether or not he goes for it.
But it looks like he may actually be wandering top instead. We got the blue buff. We are level 2. Did we grab the cleaver second? No, we are going to be going on in to grab the red. So, they took our stuff. We're going to take their stuff. Livingston, now the question is, can he be able to take down the red quick enough? And more than likely he will. We have to pop a potion or two just to make sure that he's pretty healthy doing so. And with that, successful steal. So both junglers, both buffs. Not, it's like we did get the invade in, but it's still, the results are minimal. So we pop the potion. Livingston's now making a presence top lane. Let's see if we we got the cleaver here on Big Fat. Can we get the damage we need? We did not have the ignite go down from Ispara, so we were like, we're happy with the harass we got. He's not sustaining quite yet. He does. It's gonna be a while till he has his revolver, but we do have Livingston back in the tri-bush. See, maybe if we can go in for round 2.
And in the meantime, Saint going to come down and steal these wraiths. He knows that Mundo is up top. Rumble going to be playing very defensively, but here we have an engage once again.
Can we get the cleaver again? Yes, we got it. Can we get? We do have flash available from Big Fat, but he's not burning it. Actually, now the damage output not sufficient from Rosewill to get the kill they need top.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, I'm a little bit surprised by the play by Big Fat here. So he knows, okay, Mundo's going for the blue. They went for the red. He wasn't there, so he's going to go for the blue. Naturally, you're going to expect Mundo to then go after the red. And the thing is, if Nocturne goes for his blue first, then Mundo has the speed advantage to take the red. If Nocturne is at their red, obviously he's not going to get back in time. Right. So it's a good decision for Mundo to take the red. As a result, it means he's going to be coming top. Well, Big Fat, right off the start of the lane, rather than playing defensively and allowing the creeps to push back to his tower, he came right up and started attacking the creeps, and as a result, pushed the lane up to Malphite's tower. And because Rumble is so weak early, the result is that Malphite was able to sit back and play defensively, allow it to push into him, and put Big Fat into a dangerous situation.
And Malphite's having a little bit of trouble farming up top lane, but we do have Livingston back here. We got the cleaver. Double lift will be actually going down to this gank, so first blood does go to Rosewill, and that should definitely make up for a lot of the time that Mundo was up top lane. While he was trying to get that gank on Big Fat, he was not farming, he was not getting XP, but now things have equalized a little bit. But
yeah,
granted,
actually,
he's still behind, though. He's still a little bit behind.
Yeah, we have a really nice position for, Rosewill right now, not only with that first blood, but, mid should be a pretty safe farming lane. It's going to be really tough for them to harass down Karthus. And then top lane is, just in the position that they want. Now, Big Fat should be in control now with the Malphite out of that mana. But even so, he's out of position. And actually, we see Livingston going to be catching St. Vicious here, and he will be able to get the cleave. There's the slow, actually, from TMS, so they're chasing him down. The flash from St. Vicious, and there's the yellow card onto Livingston to try and get him out of there. But with the AoE from Karthus, they should be able to pick up this kill, and now the rest of the team is in pursuit. We have the cleave, and then actually backing out of there. Hotshot able to pick up that quick kill, but with the stun, they do grab it. So even though Mundo does go down, it is a 2-for-1 exchange for Rosewill right now.
TMS grabbing the best part of that. He did get the kill credit for both of those, so quick double kill. He's got a pretty good, pretty fat wallet right about now, so he should have enough for, or at least be very well on his way to an early catalyst as well. But we see that the harass continues up top lane, and Ispara, despite being in the face of so much fire, quite literally fire from Big Fat LP's Rumble, he's still able to effectively farm. He's still, we're keeping even. We go back. We got a Doran's Ring, mana pot. We want to keep our mana pool up. We want to have that regen, take it back with us so we can just stay in lane a little while longer.
Yeah, and so right now, because of the excellent timing of Malphite's back, he did have Big Fat pushed up to the tower, and so Big Fat doesn't really have a good opportunity to recall. So Big Fat has one of two options. One, I can try and push Malphite under the tower, and that's what he wants. He wants to push his creeps under the tower so that when he gets back from his recall, they'll be back on his side. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough time to do it, so as a result, he just wants to hold the creeps here, but this gives Malphite an opportunity to come into this lane while Big Fat is low, and while Big Fat doesn't have any items, and just bully him around, which means that he's going to be able to deny Big Fat some experience when Big Fat does finally go back from lane, and we actually have the level 6 versus level 6, but unfortunately Rumble is very low, and there's the flash, or the ultimate coming in with the ignite. Big Fat going to flash out, but the Karthus ultimate is going to be able to pick up that kill.
Very nice. 3-0 Karthus is always a good thing. He's got his catalyst too. Is good on him. And you know what? I hope that Chowster comes back soon, man, because things are not going very well, and things are actually starting to spiral out pretty quickly here.
And that all started with, the teleport from Malphite. Big Fat, he wasn't able to get quite the timing that he wanted to on leaving lane. And so because he wasn't able to leave lane, a quick advantage for Malphite, and you can't let Malphite have that killing potential. We see some nice bursts going down onto Double Lift here. He's going to turn back onto Judge Reinhold. Now they are underneath the towers, so they don't want to take too much damage here. They obviously understand they can't engage, but we actually have TF porting onto Rikiri. There is the stun and the wild cards. He is chasing, and they will maybe be able to pick this kill. Who knows? Actually, Mundo coming down as well as Karthus, so they will have to back out now. So no, kill exchange, unfortunately, for them there, and so a 4-1 advantage still for Rosewill.
And thankfully, Chester is now back, so we can see Double F get a little bit more control back into the bot lane. While Big Fat trying to get some damage down in Spar, he goes in, gets rid of the shield, backs out. So,
yeah, I mean, that's what you're cooldown dependent with Rumble, and so he knew he bursted down the shield. Now all he needs to do is keep up constant damage to not allow Rumble to regen that shield. Unfortunately, the Malphite, that Q is doing pretty well, and Malphite does have a little bit of ability power with that Doran's. It gives him the mana regen that he needs along with some health, and he's just slowly wearing down Big Fat here. So even though it seemed like it would be a lane which would be to Rumble's advantage, he's very successful. In the meantime, they are trying to see if they can get an engage onto TMS here. He is backing off, so no such luck. And we'll see whether or not CLG tries to pressure that dragon.
Now normally you would see a Rumble start getting those amplifying tombs. We all work up and we want to try and get our revolver ASAP for that spell vamp. But you see here, Big Fat has actually gone for the Merc Treads. We've actually recognized that Malphite's capable of dishing out quite a bit of damage. Plus, we also want to get rid of the slow. We want to be a little bit more mobile. So it's a little bit of a defensive purchase by Big Fat just to make sure that he can stay in lane and still farm, as opposed to being offensive and trying to go in for the kill. But we see here, he's pushed out once again. We got the Malphite ult coming in. Livingston is here trying to get the cleaver off, and all that damage. He's stuck in the middle of the lane. No, he doesn't really have very many options on where to retreat, and TMS is here. Big Fat, he recognizes his fate, and his Spar goes up and gets that kill. But in the meantime, we do have Nocturne, and we do have TF, St. Vicious and Hotshot. They saw, hey, they got 3 guys up top lane. Let's push mid. Let's get some damage on that tower. It's going to get to at least half, but they know Karthus is here. Are they going to back out? No, they were almost committing there, but it's going to barely get out. Not unscathed, though. Cleaver, ooh, barely missed St. Vicious.
Oh, but we actually have the movement speed from Livingston. He's going to try and chase this down. We'll get the Cleaver onto TF. The flash force from Hotshot, and he's actually going to flash as well. Flash and then the Cleaver, but he's going down very quickly. Karthus coming in as well. Mundo does go down, but Hotshot should drop here, and now St. Vicious in a lot of trouble because Tarek gets the stun, and the rest of the team does come. So 7-2, 2-for-1 exchange, and they actually have a good opportunity to take Dragon here if they decide to, but they're not actually going to go for it. So a little bit surprised there, but without Mundo for the smite, there is a concern about double lift and Chouster just having a lot of burst damage, maybe picking up a quick kill onto Karthus.
Yep. But yeah, now, look at Karthus now. 4-0-1, Rod of Ages. 10 minutes into the game. Fantastic. Early purchase. That thing's going to be perfectly well up and farmed to maximum capacity at the 20-minute mark. Very well timed, in the fact that he has all the kills and the farm to support that early purchase speaks to how far ahead Karthus is now against Hotshot in the mid. Hotshot, he's got his 2 Doran's rings, he's got his Sheen. TF, one of his core items though as an AP is Lichbane, because you go in, you get the yellow card, you get the stun, and you get your attack off. Just huge bursts of damage, huge bursts of guaranteed damage if you're within range. But we need to still work up to that, and now we have Rosewill going ahead, taking this dragon, and they should be able to get this pretty convincingly. We do have TF, he's getting ready to ult, but Rosewill's able to secure it, and now Chouster's in the middle of the whole team. Goes down immediately, and now St. Vicious is trying to pick up what he can. Goes in the back. We get the kill on Livingston, but we see here TMS is now down, so we have the ult coming in. Will we be able to get anyone off of this? Ricari is off. He is alone in the middle of the pit. Does dash over the wall, but we got the double flash, double lift, and Big Fat are there to secure that kill.
Yeah, so even though Rosewill was able to pick up that dragon, the 4-for-2 exchange, we do have Malphite pushing down top a little bit. He's not going to be able to drop in. The concern is that Malphite is a pretty slow pusher. Obviously, if no one's going to come defend it, then he's going to be able to drop it. So CLG actually just going to exchange that mid lane for the top one.
Yep.
And now this does 2 things. So one, actually, he probably won't be able to do it. So it's too difficult for him to push. So that's obviously going to give them some nice map control, but then also, if this tower goes down, then Big Fat could just start to control the lane at the second turret, freeze the lane, and be fine. But we do see a kind of engage on Aspara here. Nocturne coming up the lane, and Rumble coming down as well. He is very close to taking down this tower, but I don't know if they're going to let him leave. Big Fat just very comfortable with sitting back. So they do maintain the tower currently, but it is just a fraction away from dying.
That's the thing. Asparo was very pressured to take down that tower because that last fight at Dragon, it was a 4-for-2. Rosewill got the Dragon, but it is negated by the additional 2 kills that they gave up to CLG. So gold-wise, it was an even trade until CLG got the mid-tower. So they realized, listen, if they're going to take a tower, we need to take one too to try and even out the engage, but he's just barely unable to do it. So until that top tower goes down, the lead gold-wise, they're going to be a little bit further behind than where they were originally. So now it's time to play catch-up. Ricari being caught out by double lift, tons of damage coming in from the Gatling gun, leading away with that. And that was 75% of his life gone in an instant, man.
Yeah, and that red buff can just be extremely oppressive on Corki. Karthus is going to be able to grab this blue, so that will give him, once again, some more farming control with, how strong he already is. But we'll have to see, what if CLG can take that last fight and take that advantage and start snowballing. They are to that point in the game where all of them have a lot of kill potential, and Rumble just has so much kill potential top. TF, obviously, if he can start getting some ganks going, and then Nocturne, and then bottom lane, has hit that nice little mark. So we'll see whether or not they're actually going to leave the turret up. So they want that turret up so that they can constantly push back. They can just maintain their lane and get those ganks in, not have to worry about pushing too much.
So Aspara here, he wants to get that last hit on that tower. We want to get that. We want to bring the advantage back to our team just a little bit, but St. Vicious, he's not too far away. His ult just comes back up. Hotshot comes in with a teleport, and we do have Aspara forcing to ult away and burning the flash just to get away from this engagement. But here comes Nocturne ult to help finish the job. That's a lot of ults blown, man, just for that one kill up top. But look, can we make something happen with this? We do now have 3 members of Rosewill down bot. Can we get the engage? We got Chaucer there with the stun to try and keep everyone away, but it is not enough. And we also have Karthus pushing down in the mid. Can Chaucer get away with this? We got the flash from Livingston to help connect this, but will be falling under his own tower. And we also, Rikiri got the kill on that too. And where is Karthus? Now taking the blue. We took mid tower. So we had so much effort being blown top lane just to kill Aspara. Look at the advantage that Rosewill has gotten in exchange.
Yeah, and so, I mean, Rumble, it will help him snowball a little bit. He's obviously behind right now. Malphite doing extremely well in that top lane after that first kill. So they are able to get the kill up there, but definitely not a positive exchange as they get all those kills bottom for Rosewill. And
towers.
We'll have to see. Yeah, all those towers as well. So if Rosewill can start, pressuring this game because they have this huge advantage right now and start pushing down towers, then all of a sudden CLG loses that split pushing capabilities and that kind of ganking capability. And that's what they want. They want Rosewill to be separated so that TF and Nocturne can get to work. But once, everyone's kind of grouped, then we have to deal with this AoE damage. We have to deal with Graves and Karthus and Malphite combined. And very quickly, Rosewill could be in a favorable situation there. So right now, CLG just needs to stop, allowing Rosewill to push any towers. If they can pick up kills like this is going to be great. So we have the fear going off into Livingston. He does not have his flash up, and so the quick chase, they will be able to pick up this kill very easily. Being a little bit too aggressive, needs to get some better ward coverage.
Yeah, that was just a little bit too much of an overextension here from Livingston. You cannot be doing stuff like that, when you're so far ahead. Granted, you want to try and get more ahead when you're leading in gold and in kills. You can't be doing it alone. Otherwise, you're going to see individual members of your team going down. We almost had an engage on TMS in mid because he was so far pushed out. But Nocturne is still around. St. Vicious, his ult is down for the moment. But I think we really need to start to see Rosewill grouping up as a 5 so they can go ahead and get all the pushing power they need. All group up, get everyone mid, get everyone top, bottom, doesn't matter. Get everyone in the lane, start pushing, get your aggression on, and then now we can start focusing in on other objectives like Baron.
And Rosewill just playing a very safe game right now. They know that, with that mid tower down, Karthus doesn't really have a lot of survivability to gank. So when we compare, Nocturne's initiation with the stun, he does want to be safe there. We'll see. We actually have the stun, and Mundo coming up this lane, I don't think he has enough range to get in, but they are going to try and engage. He does have his ult, but the ult from Chauster should allow them to get out of there, so they will back off and be safe.
St. Vicious is also nearby. Hot shots in mid. He can teleport there in an instant, but I think we recognize from Rosewill is like, Dragon will be coming up soon. We might want to start playing for it. We got a pink ward up front in the pit. It is clean. More wards come in. Judge Reinhold is there. We saw the pink ward go down, and we got 4 members of Rosewill against 3 members of CLG. Hotshot's not too far away, and Aspara is here soon as well. Big Fat is a little way too far out, and CLG knows this. Like, we can't fight this one. Let's just let him have it.
So another dragon going down, and with that Oracle's on Taric, Rosewill, has great map control right now, and they can deny TF and Nocturne from getting off those aggressive ganks. They can, kind of engage the fights that they want, which is absolutely what they want right now. And so because TF and Nocturne, haven't been able to get those ganks for a while, I don't know, it's going to be tough. CLG, they're really close as far as gold is considered, and they, still have a really nice AoE teamfight team, but if they can't, take more control over this map, then we'll have to see if Rosewill can maybe pull this out.
I'm looking at the item builds right now, and it seems that Hotshot is very close to getting that Lichbane. And I think, after maybe another minute or two, or maybe even after this Wolves camp that he's going for, he might be able to just go port back to town and grab it. We also have the Wriggles on Nocturne, so when they start going for those objectives, we'll be able to take it out just a little bit sooner. And we now see Rosewill with the Oracles cleaning up all these wards, and we actually get caught out. Big Fat out and trying to push down the ult. He puts it down in front of him to try and reduce that engage going down. And Aspara, he ults to try and close the gap, does not get there in time, and Hotshot is now out in front. He flashes over the wall to try and continue the aggression there on the Livingston. He is ignited, but will be safe. Ult is still going on, so he will regen a lot of the health that he lost. But, we still have a superior position here by Rosewill. They still have control of the area around the Baron Pit, And we actually see TMS getting aggressive here, trying to see if we can't pick off someone from CLG. St. Vicious is sticking behind to try and see what we can make happen, but he flashes away right into the stun from Tarek, puts on the ult, and you know what? Not much you can do there, and we may actually see a Baron attempt here from Rosewill.
Yeah, and TMS is a little bit low on mana, but they do have a lot of Baron potential. Obviously, between Mundo and Malphite, they can tank it pretty easily. A lot of the ultimates are down for CLG, and not having Nocturne to threaten that Smite Steal is going to be a concern. The only issue is if Karthus gets a little bit too low, so maybe CLG can leave Karthus up, not kill him so he gets that passive, because the passive gives him infinite mana, and we'll see whether or not we have the kill. There's the quick Baron, and actually Big Fat out of position here. They're not able to get in fast enough, so the quick Baron on Rosewill, and they're in complete control of this game right now. CLG, very close to going down. We'll have to see whether or not they can hold off this push with this Baron now, because I don't know, Karthus late game coupled with Graves, coupled
scary.
with the initiation that they have, it's going to be extremely difficult to deal with.
Karthus now with the Zonias. So once he gets in the middle of his team fights, if he gets focused down, it's not going to be a whole lot that can be done to him. And you know what? That was the perfect opportunity for Rosewill to go in on Baron. We took St. Vicious completely out of the fight. Hotshot used his ult earlier to try and get a kill onto Livingston, which he did not get. And we just had a lot of opportunities down for CLG to go and try and contest that. There wasn't anything they can do. Big Fat got a little bit curious. He's going on to the pit. He's like, hey, we know you guys are doing it. How far along are you? Oh, you're done.
Yeah, and so in the meantime, Graves picking up this red buff. They are extremely strong right now. Graves, 5-1 and 4, doesn't really have an item advantage over Corki currently. How much gold does he have currently? Not a lot. So yeah. They are very even still. Excuse me.
Yeah, we got the farm from Corki. It's a 50 creep lead essentially, and that's really that's really recouped and got back everything, all the gold that Graves has gotten just purely based off of kills and assists. So it's a good recoup, but you have to consider TF versus Karthus. That's a little bit of a different gold lead there.
Mm-hmm. And TF trying to get that push down bottom, so they have momentum in the bottom lane. Unfortunately, there's not a real way for them to defend against this push, and CLG kind of knows it right now. So Rosewill, they're going to be able to take down that one tower. They should be able to kind of push into the base, but at the very least, they're going to get a bunch of these outer towers. And without that security of the base, it's going to be difficult because CLG knows that they're kind of going to be overrun currently by how strong Rosewill is. They do have some nice clearing capabilities with both TF and Corki, so they can potentially stall that way, but I think that Rosewill can probably just barrel down, right down this mid lane on them.
But Livingston, he's living life on the edge, man. He's being out in front, trying to get superior positioning when the creeps do pull up. But, we've seen him get caught before. He could get caught again. Everyone on Rosewill only has one death except for Livingston. He has pretty much half of the team's deaths just on his own. So he needs to express, he needs to be extremely cautious about his positioning, where he is in team fights, how he's approaching team fights, and once this Baron buff eventually goes, he's going to be significantly weaker, so he needs to be careful leading up into that when we start going for these final pushes.
And so you see with that Malphite shield, they're going to be perfectly fine with just tanking that turret, running right up to defend it. They know if CLG tries to defend, then they obviously have a really strong teamfight team right now. So grabbing two second tier turrets, they will back off. They do have a nice chunk of gold now, so they can buy some further items. And I don't know, it's going to be tough for CLG to defend. Now this is where split push comes in. So you have the split push offensively we saw last game. Now we see the split push defensively. And by keeping all the lanes pushed, by keeping momentum everywhere, you can kind of deny opportunities from your opponents to push down turrets. And so that's primarily what we're going to be seeing by CLG to try and stall out the game. We'll probably see Saint and Hotshot, split pushing all around, but in the meantime, Rosewill is ready. They know that Dragon should be spawning soon and are going to be looking to pick that up.
And we got Tarek in the middle of the pool, doing some quick taunts. It's always good. It's always good to hear Tarek's voice. It's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to listen to. It's very melodic and very soothing. But we now see Rosewill gathering up into bot lane. And we got the exhaust coming in on Hotshot. They want to get that kill. They want to secure it, and Livingston is it. We got the Graves ult doing what it can, and you know what? Easy kill. And we got all of CLG realizing, oh man, we should stop doing the split push thing, man. We got to defend. And you know what? With Hotshot down, that may actually spell it. I mean, he's got 30 seconds until he comes back up. This creep wave should be enough to tank it. We got enough damage. We got the Malphite ult coming in right under tower. We got the Rumble ult trying to dissuade everyone away, but Double Up does go down pretty quick. It was along with Big Fat, and now we see the split from CLG, and there's not really a whole lot we can do. We just need someone to tank the tower. When we take this down, we'll take Inhib, and actually this may very well be game.
Yeah, and so you just, Rosewill just doing such an effective job here. They have the AoE initiation with Malphite, and just with that AoE, they're very quickly able to pick up that turret. You know, in CLG, because they don't really have a team built for team fights, they do have a decent team fight team.
Right.
Like, it's not terrible. It's just that, you know, TF is kind of weak, and without being able to pick up kills, we'll see whether or not he jumps in here. This would be pretty much instant death for Hotshot if he decided to.
But he's teleporting mid. He wants to clear the creep wave, he wants to be aggressive, and he wants to push the lane out. So, you know, I already used my ult, I already got vision on these guys, I might as well use it and do something with my time. So he's going to go ahead, clear the wave mid. We may also see a transition top to try and push that wave in as well. Just doing what they can to try and delay the push as much as they can, because they know Baron does have to respawn soon. If all of our waves are sufficiently pushed out, we can buy ourselves more time for that fight in an attempt to steal, so that way we don't lose to pushing minions.
And so in the meantime, you see them trying to get pressure on all the lanes. That CDR on Big Vet will definitely help out. I think the big thing is they just need to clear, you know, minions when they can before Rosewill gets a chance to get to them, because now Rosewill is going to try and deny CLG from any golden experience and try and hold them off. And so in the meantime, we see Corki a little bit out of position, but they are setting up for the Baron. And, you know, they have the fast Baron possibility. Baron actually shouldn't be up for a little bit, so they're actually just backing off. But you know, it is a very fast Baron when they have that opportunity. It should be up shortly. We'll see whether or not CLG, when they're in that confined area, we'll have the Leona ult, we'll have the Rumble ult to combo. Yep. See if we can pick up any quick kills there. And the big key for them is to stay out of that Rumble ult. In that last fight, they were all kind of grouped up, all hit by Malphite really quickly.
Yeah.
So if they can stay out of that Malphite ultimate, split up a little bit, then they'll be okay. But Rosewill coming quickly into this top lane, they're going to be pushing top, and CLG is out of position. They might be able to just rush down this turret.
They might be able to rush us down. We do not see a whole lot of movement from CLG. It looks like they're now all starting to recall, wanting to defend against this push. And I like this call by Rosewill, because they're pushing into a tower, they're being aggressive, and at the very least trying to counteract the push, the minion wave from Lessa. But we got St. Vicious now coming in, and we got the Zonias being fired off by TMS just to protect them for just a little bit longer and to keep that AoE going. He does die, but here comes the ult. How many will we get off of this? We got the Zonias also come in. Zonias purchased by Hotshot. Very good purchase in that respect, but you know what? We still got 4 members of Rosewill up. It's not looking too good. We can, if we really want to, try once again for a kill on Hotshot, but we see there's trying to dissuade them, but Rosewill will go ahead, take the safe retreat, take their win. Oh, we got the Deathly coming in.
They don't want to walk into Terra, which is the issue for Big Fat, because if that stun goes down, they could maybe pick him up.
Yeah.
They are kind of just holding him off here, but at the same time, they're losing Nexus, so we actually have the TF from coming in.
Ooh.
He is trying to pick someone off on the wrong side, so not going to be able to engage. Big Fat just still not letting them get out of there, and Ricari jumping into him, get the quick burst onto Big Fat, and then turning onto Hotshot, so 2 kills. CLG, oh, can they pick up a Smart? Not able to do it. But you saw they were trying to just slowly wear them down, which they were. They had them all very low. They were trying to see if they could pick up any kills, because they need to right now. They need to make plays happen. Trying to make them happen, couldn't get it done. So another Nexus turret goes down. Baron is up, and because CLG is so pushed into their base right now, it should be a pretty easy Baron for Rosewill with how much damage they have from Karthus.
That last little engagement would not have happened unless it happened because Aspara was so low. And sometimes when you have a retreating team with a member who's just like one shot away from death, like Hot's just like, man, I'll teleport. I got that available to me. I can totally just get in there, get that one shot, kill him, and get out. It's a little bit harder than that sometimes, and you know that definitely proved it, because you have 4 members all moving as a pack, and when you have that, it's not usually guaranteed, and sometimes you may just get that kill and die along in the process, and that is exactly what happened. And now that buys enough time for Rosewill to go back, recall, heal up, and now come right back to Baron. Hotshot is back up, teleport now down. Like once again, all these ults are now down while this Baron fight is being considered here. And I wish Rosewill would actually go for it really soon because the TF ult is about to come back up. Nocturne ult is now back up. So we got the engagement here. Chowster actually being caught out a little too far away from the rest of the team. But St. Vicious, we're actually focusing down TMS in the back line. So we got the ult once again. Big Fat should be going down here once again. Double kill. We got Chowster in that too. St. Vicious should not be getting away either. Ispara here trying to slow down Double Up to keep Judge Reinhold alive. Not going to be able to happen, but Livingston is here. Can we get the damage we need to on Double Up? Yes, we can, but Ispara is now very low once again. Hot shot versus Livingston. Can we get this? Livingston is just standing still. That's all he needs to do. And the ace on the Mundo, 4 for 5. But CLG, though, that was a little bit of a better fight for them, but look, we got super minions.
Oh, and actually Mundo going the wrong way for a second, wanted to go after that Nexus, then realized the inhibitor was down. But regardless, yeah, CLG, they're able to kite back and forth, and they have that kind of slow, sustained damage with the range. They have the poke from Corki and TF, and then Rumble is kind of a poke, even though he's very short range. So, you know, they can negotiate these fights very well, but even though the fight was fairly successful for them, because Rosewill's already pushed so hard into their base, we see mid inhibitor going down, bottom inhibitor is pretty close because the minion's pushing onto it, and Big Fat very close to not being able to take down this inhibitor.
You can do it. You can do it.
Oh, they actually do lose the inhibitor top. So 2 inhibitors going down, and now Rosewill can pressure this Baron once again, and then CLG, you know, they can't stop it. If they want to try and stop it, they're probably going to lose their base to minions.
Anyway, we have a Nexus tower down already. This is just 3 Baron right now for Rosewill, and with this, they should have all of the push, all of the power they need to just pressure to CLG's base, walk, swoop on in, take that last tower, and get the game. So it's just a matter of time. Let's get everyone, all 5, gathered up. We'll get a nice solid push going. And you know, this is pretty much Rosewill's game. We need a disaster, an absolute sheer disaster for Rosewill to lose this one. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be going on to Game 3 on this.
Yeah, but we are starting to see that great fight control from CLG. You know, being able to pick up those kills. If they can kind of stall off and get kills, then, you know, maybe they can pick up this win. But unfortunately, the issue is with those 2 inhibitors down, Rosewill can be very defensive in their fights. And obviously, they don't want to engage. They have the Karthus wall. It's a 60% slow, long range. So very easily, they can just say, okay, we're not fighting here. Let's throw down the wall. Let's back off. And so Rosewill can very slowly push down this bottom lane and then know that CLG, you know, it's going to be difficult for them to engage. If they want to engage, they're just going to have a bad fight with the Nocturne ult, and if they don't engage, then very slowly the rest of the lanes are pushing in on them, so they can just come right up this bottom lane.
We see the bottom lane. The last inhibitor is bot. They just want to go ahead and secure that just in case things go wrong. Hey, all 3 inhibs are down. That's a lot of super minions pushing if you have a lot of members down. You know what? No, there's no single one person on the team right now in CLG that could possibly take 3 lanes of super minions worth. Maybe if Corki and Nocturne stayed alive, maybe they might be able to do it, but not very likely. But there goes the inhib. We have 1 tower and a Nexus to go, and we're just swooping around, getting our lanes pushed. We just want to have the world's biggest minion wave coming on in on this last remaining tower and Nexus just to secure our spot. This is a qualifier tournament, man. You don't want to be leaving anything to chance. They just want to go ahead and secure all their options. The minions, these last few waves are coming on up, and this looks like the last fight very soon. Hotshot thrown off those wild cards, trying to get as much damage as we can before we actually get in on this. And there comes the Nocturne ult right to the back line, trying to get the hurt here on the Graves, but he's bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. St. Vicious does go down. That last turret is now gone, and we can just go ahead and straight up attack the Nexus. Hotshot burns the Zonias. Not going to be doing a whole lot for him, and the Nexus goes down. Game 2 going to Rosewill Gaming. Who'd have thunk it, man? Gems are